What is up, farming family? How y'all doing today? Today, we're checking out Berk's Pickleball's Carbon C16. This is their raw carbon fiber Gen 1 paddle. I'm going to be going over the specs, what we think about it, all that good stuff. So stay tuned for that, and I hope y'all are doing good today. This paddle is a T700 raw carbon fiber paddle. It's got a poly honeycomb core. The height of this paddle is 16.5 inches. The width is 7.5 inches. The grip length is 5.5 inches. The grip circumference is 4.375 inches. It's 16 millimeters thick, and the average weight is 8.2 ounces.
So for the power for this on me, this paddle is super soft, like majority of the Generation 1 paddles. I really did find this to not be super poppy at all and had just no power. You definitely have to generate your own power if you're going to use this paddle.
Yeah, when it came to the power of the Berk, it was an extremely soft paddle. Envision a Spartus Gladys, the Electra Model E, the Carbon 1, paddles along that line. That's kind of the softness you're going to get when it comes to the power. You're not going to be putting any overheads away at like lightning fast speed or anything like that. But when you give up a little bit of power, you're going to gain some control. But this is just simply a Generation 1 raw carbon fiber paddle in terms of power.
For the control of this paddle, it was super great. I really did enjoy using this paddle overall for the control in the kitchen line. I very rarely hit pop-up dinks. I had great control from the baseline for third shot drops. This is just overall a really good control paddle.
Yeah, in terms of control, this thing is a very control-oriented paddle. Like in a tier list, if I was to put stuff that was like super control, this would be very, very, very high up there with the Electra Model E original. Like anything you want to do in terms of drops, resets, blocks, dinks, it's all going to come super easy with this paddle. It's not going to take any adjustment whatsoever in terms of poppiness. Like you're going to be able to do the soft game is essentially what I'm getting at.
I would definitely rate this paddle for spin with majority of the Generation 1 paddles. It's definitely there with the Bison and the Spartus.
In terms of spin, I don't think it was quite as good. Well, I know it wasn't quite as good as the thermoform foamed edge paddles. My slices and chops and topspin serves weren't dipping and curving as much as they normally do. But that's to be expected with, the Generation 1 raw carbon fiber paddles. Now, for 90% of you, it's going to put out enough spin for you to be able to do, what you want to do. But if you're wanting something with like ridiculously crazy spin, I would go for a thermoform foamed edge paddle. But, people that don't like the poppiness and stuff could sacrifice a little bit of spin to get this just so they have a little bit more control. In terms of maneuverability, it is 8.2 ounces, but it wasn't crazy heavy. I feel like it's in line with other Generation 1 raw carbon fiber paddles. It doesn't have the thermoformed, it doesn't have the foamed edges weighing it down. So it's going to be a little bit head lighter than the new ones. So if, you have weaker wrist or, you're a little bit smaller, these Generation 1 raw carbon fiber paddles would probably be a better go-to for you instead of having to swing around a heavier piece of gear that's going to make you slower at the kitchen, which is where you spend most of your time at. In terms of durability, the handle, the poly showing in the handle, it's not a unibody design paddle. Most of these like this, if you snap them over your knee, they could easily snap. I've only had one paddle snap on me, and it was not this paddle. Just go ahead and let you know that. It was not this paddle. So I don't think you're going to have problems with it snapping unless you're doing something crazy where you're hitting yourself all the time and then it like rattles to the point to where it loosens and weakens to where it finally snaps. But we didn't have problems playing with it, and my brother absolutely loves this paddle. In terms of customization, we put a little bit of lead tape around the throat and added an overgrip and 4 popsicle sticks and 2 pieces of cardboard. What I did was where the poly was on the side, I cut 2 pieces of cardboard out and fit them perfectly in there. And since the handle is a flatter handle, it's not like an octagon shape. It is very flat. I put 2 popsicle sticks on top, 2 popsicle sticks on bottom, and it made it more of an octagon shape. Then I wrapped it all with my grip, and that's all I did. It made it feel like a regular handle, because that was my biggest gripe with the handle, was how flat the handle felt. My brother liked it and enjoyed how it felt, but me, I did, and I had to do some customization. I just thought I'd let you guys know that in case you all buy the paddle.
So at 149, it is a little steep just for a Generation 1 paddle without foamed edges and thermoform. But for me personally, I really did enjoy this paddle. While the handle, some people find it not as comfortable, I just really enjoyed the way the handle and just everything felt. So I would recommend this paddle, but it is a little too high in price.
For the price, it's $150. If you use my code FarmerBerk at checkout, you get a 15% off. This is a really soft paddle. If someone is interested in a paddle with a unique flatter style handle that's very soft, and it's from a company that doesn't have a lot of paddles, who's, I guess, is pretty new, to the pickleball industry, you can give them a try. My brother used this. We had a tournament for a lady in our area named Pam. She's been battling breast cancer. And for the charity tournament, I used the Rhombus R3 Pulsar. My brother used the Berk. He loves the paddle. If he went to a tournament right now, he would probably use it. So if it was him, he would definitely recommend it for the price. Me personally, I like the thermoform paddles, but with the 15% off, this isn't a bad price for the paddle. You just got to do some customization to the handles, in my opinion. But yeah, this has been my review. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you can decide whether or not you're going to buy this paddle. My brother loves it to death. My only gripe about it was the handle, like literally the only gripe, because I like the perfect, almost round shape handles, and this was definitely not. It was flatter. But if you don't have a problem with that, or you can want to customize it a little bit, could be a very soft paddle for you if you don't like the thermoform foamed edge paddles. But until next time, stay safe. Have a good day. Drink plenty of water. Peace, y'all.